Hi, and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time visiting, my name is Gloria. Please consider subscribing. In this video, I decided that it was time for us to get to know each other. I don't know you, you don't know me. I have some questions here that I am going to be answering myself. And if you find any of these to be interesting to you, please consider also leaving some of your thoughts in the comment below. The first question is, if you could live in a book or a TV show, movie series, which one would it be? Without a doubt, it's going to be Star Trek. I love the Star Trek universe because of the utopian environment that everybody's living in. There are aliens living on Earth working, there are people from Earth working on other planets, human beings on spaceships exploring the universe. Star Trek Deep Space Nine would be a great one for me. You know, you're on a space station, there are alien cultures coming through the wormhole from the other side of the galaxy. There are also tons of aliens on a quadrant of the galaxy coming through to trade. It seems like an exciting place to be, and I would have really enjoyed to be in that world, I think. I think I would enjoy it. If you had to lose one of your senses, like you don't have a choice, and you're going to lose one of your senses, but you could choose which one it is that you wanted to lose, which one would it be? I choose hearing because I do not think that I would be able to navigate this world without sight, having had sight. Now, if suddenly there was a change in the universe and then I had been blind from when I was a child, then I do not know what my choice would be then. I love hugs, so touch has to stay. I love smelling and tasting food, and I love seeing things, so the sight is going to have to stay. So that's what I would choose. If you could choose a superpower, which one would it be? I'm going to have to create a superpower for this particular question. And that is the ability to create, to bring into this world the imaginations of my mind. A veil to go into a different universe, a parallel universe. The ability for human beings to break the speed of light barrier so we can travel through the universe. I would love to be able to correct some wrongs that I think are on Earth, sort of the inequality that is pervasive throughout so many of our societies. So I would love to be able to imagine something, but mostly cool stuff, and then be able to manifest it in this universe. That's the superpower that I want. If you have the ability to give superpowers, please consider giving this one to me. I promise to be a good steward. What is home? Home for me is a place where I can be my truest self, where I do not have to fear the judgment of other people for the crazy things that come out of my mouth. And it's also a place where I can get good energy, where I can be energized to go out into the world to create the things that I want to create. That for me would be home. And it's also where I keep my chocolate. What are you grateful for? I am grateful to have been born in a time where a woman can have her own agency, where she owns herself, where she can do things and it's not impossible for her to do anything that she wants to do if that is what she desires. So that is what I am ultimately grateful for. I have so many goals, things that I want to do, and I can do them. I'm not barred or restricted from doing it because of my age or my sex or my gender. Why did you choose the course that you did at college or university or some other tertiary training institute? To be completely honest, this is honest and raw, I chose it to prove that I was smart, that I could study something difficult and succeed in my studies. At the time that people are going to university in their early 20s, late teens, early 20s, I was able to go to a university in Uganda, which is where I was born and raised. And I did not enjoy the course I was doing. I didn't study hard and ended up being discontinued. And the fallout from being discontinued from university was that people in my community started thinking that I was just dumb, that I had difficulty learning, I wasn't smart enough. And so I felt that I needed to do this to prove not only to myself, but to those people that I could do it, because I had started believing their lies. When I had the opportunity to go to the University of Kansas, I chose architectural engineering, which in retrospect I shouldn't have done, but I chose it because I'm good at math and good at physics, so, what are you going to do? Engineering, right? That is why I chose architectural engineering at KU. What are you currently reading? I'm reading Taken by Kimberly Derting. Let me read this for you. I don't know anything about this author. I read a little blurb at the back of the book, our local chapters. Thought it was interesting to pick up, but let me read for you what I read so you can see why I picked this book up. A flash of white light, and then nothing. When 16-year-old Kyra Agnew wakes up behind a dumpster at the gas and sip, she has no memory of how she got there. With a terrible headache and a major case of deja vu, she heads home only to discover that 5 years have passed, yet she hasn't aged a day. I had to pick it up. What was your worst job? Or tell us a firing story. A story of when it is that you got fired from a job. My worst job is the same story as my firing job. I did not like this job, but I was desperate. I had just moved back to Uganda for a little bit, and I needed to start earning money because just can't stay in your parents' house and do nothing. So I went and found a job at a computer cafe where you purchase some time on a computer, use the internet, or use whatever software it is that you want to use. We had this boss whose actual name is Basil, but Ugandans don't say Basil, they say Basil. So Basil was my employer. Me and Basil didn't get along at all. He always thought that I needed to be doing something more than I was doing, and I'm not a salesperson. You have hired me to come and teach your word classes. I'm supposed to beat the street. This is your business. It's not like I'm going to get all the money from this and keep it to myself. Nah. And then one day he comes in and yells at me and calls me a pumpkin! A pumpkin? He called me a pumpkin. And I don't know why, but it felt like the greatest insult. I've been called many things. Calling me a pumpkin? I was so offended, so I wrote a resignation letter as soon as he left, and I took off. So I wasn't fired, but he called me a pumpkin. Can't hire a pumpkin. Pumpkin doesn't do work. I hated that job. I hated that place. I liked his co-owner because I'd known him from secondary school, so I didn't like that job. Ugh. What advice would you give your 18-year-old self? My advice to my 18-year-old self would be to always remember that you are the one who dictates the terms of your life. It's not up to somebody else. That has to be a choice that you make, and it's okay if it looks different from everybody else's. Because it was different. It was always different, but I felt this pressure to fit myself into this little box where people understood my motivations for doing things. It doesn't always feel that way. So that is what I would tell myself. What is your greatest fear? My greatest fear has to be not living up to my potential, which is very, very vague. But every day that I wake up, my purpose is to take a look at my goals, see what it is that I want to accomplish, and do as much of it as is possible. And I know sometimes this is impossible to do. There's always checkboxes that you haven't ticked off. I want to be able to say at the end of the day that I did the best that I could. Which 3 people, alive or dead, would you invite to have a meal in your house? This is the easiest question of them all. I know everybody wants Oprah, but Oprah's having dinner with me, so check her calendar again. Michelle Obama. I would love to be able to sit with her and have a conversation about nothing. I don't even want to have conversations about policies and all this stuff. No, I just want to get to know her as a person because I think she's amazing. The 3rd person that I would invite is Octavia Butler. She died before I even ever knew anything about her books. I would have flown anywhere to be where Octavia was presenting her work. Anywhere to be in the presence of this amazing writer. I find her to be incredibly, endlessly inspiring. I love her work. So the last question is, what is your guilty pleasure? I can't name chocolate. Chocolate is a food group, which is different from a guilty pleasure. And I don't feel guilty at all when I'm having I don't. Like, it rejuvenates me. Rejuvenates my soul. I feel so embarrassed saying this. My guilty pleasure is watching MSNBC videos that are trashing the current president of the United States. I don't live in the States, but for some reason, I find those videos to be enjoyable. But I will never tell anyone. That's my guilty pleasure. I don't know how to deal with it. I have decided that I'm not going to watch them anymore. Just like, it became too much. Just tired of that kind of news, and I'm looking for something a lot more positive in my life. So there you have it. That's my guilty pleasure, and it's gone already. I haven't watched any of those videos this week. So those were my questions. I hope you enjoyed getting to know me a little better, and I can't wait to get to know you. So don't forget to leave comments. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm everywhere on social media, and I will leave links in the bottom. If you found any of these questions to be interesting, something you'd like to answer, something you'd like to correct me on, please go ahead and leave your comments in the comments section. I cannot wait to meet you and to get to know more about you. So let's have a conversation. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.